Hey, welcome to a fresh new episode of the TD News Show and happy Friday to everybody. This is my favorite day of the week, but you guys are not here to know what's my preferences are. You're here to know what's the news for today. Well, let's talk about the news then. And let's start the show with Intel because an alleged access of the singularity benchmark result for the i9-11900K has been leaked and found by Tom Appisak. The screenshot confirms that the i9-11900K is going to be an 8-core 16-threaded CPU with a base clock of 3.50 GHz paired with GeForce RTX 3080 and 32 GB of RAM. The i9-11900K scored 62.7 FPS CPU frame rate at 1440p resolution and 64.7 fps frame rate at 1080p resolution. The numbers put the 11900K in the same league as the Ryzen 7 5800X in CPU frame rate tested under similar conditions, which is a really good thing. And if Intel priced it properly, then we might be able to see some neck and neck comparison again. But I know some of you are thinking that it's a downgrade from 10900K. 10900K was a 10-core CPU, but this is an 8-core CPU. But one thing that you have to remember that this 11900K or the whole next gen CPU lineup from Intel are going to be built on top of a new architecture, and they are expecting a double-digit IPC increase. So honestly, this is not a downgrade, and at the same time this also forms into the rumor territory, so always take it with a grain of salt. And let's talk about the next news, which is shorter, coming from AMD. Well, with AMD's Ryzen 5000 CPUs, they introduced a technology called Smart Access Memory, or SAM. Now, if you are thinking this is a AMD owned technology, then you are totally wrong. This technology existed for a long time in PCI specification, and it's called Resizable BAR support, and AMD just utilized that technology and gave it a pretty fancy name. Now, in last episode I told you guys that ASUS is also introducing this technology with Intel platform motherboards, and some leaks came out showing a AMD GPU paired with an Intel CPU, and as you can see on screen that you are not seeing that much of a performance improvement with maximum or average FPS, but where we are seeing a good amount of improvement is on the minimum frame rate. And to be honest, if there is it's a double-digit improvement, and that can make your gameplay a little bit smoother. Now, talking about smooth, as we all know, the GPU supplies are not going smooth, neither from Nvidia nor from AMD. Now, this is not only the reason because there is outrageous demand, but also scalpers, which is currently a real problem right now. But there are also other issues, and Nvidia's CFO spoke about that and said that this is not only happening because they weren't prepared for that kind of demand, but also there are other issues like insufficient wafers and issues with supply chain. Now, as I told you guys earlier in my videos, that this situation or the GPU or any hardware shortage situation is not only because there is way too much demand and scalpers, but also supply chains are not running properly as they used to run in normal circumstances. So we are going to see these kind of supply issues till 2020, but I am hoping that we will see this situation to be improving around Q1 2020, or specifically late or mid Q1 2021. But if you are lucky enough, then I'm sure that you got your hands onto one of these new GPUs already. Now, talking about lucky, if you are lucky, you might have a PS5 hooked up to your TV. But luck doesn't end there, because all PS5 are not created equally. Some of them have 23 fan blades, some of them have 17 fan blades on their cooling fan. Now, if you are an unlucky one and got a 17 fan blade version, then you might be facing some noise issues. Now, this is not the first time that these kind of things happened with console. These kind of things happened before, and I'm sure these kind of things gonna happen in the future also, but with time these supply issues or these defective supplies, as you can say, although they are not defective, they are working properly fine, so technically they are not defective, but these kind of problem will or issues will improve sooner than later, and just give them time. But unfortunately, if you are unfortunate and got a 17 fan blade version, then you might have to stick with it. Now, talking about sticking with it, I always stick with quick news in my videos, and now I'm gonna give you guys today's quick news because this is the time for the quick news. Xbox console update now lets you pre-install Game Pass titles before they are even available. PS5 broke US console sales record as all-time bestseller. Salesforce buys Slack for $27.7 billion. iPhone exploit gave hackers control over Wi-Fi without your input. Apple's MagSafe Duo Charger is now available for $129. Two new mini LED MacBooks Model 2 launched next year with a more affordable MacBook Air in 2022. Facebook's cryptocurrency project rebranded itself as Dune. Amazon may buy podcast network Wondery. Google AI is now piloting Loon's internet booming balloon. Razer Tomahawk modular gaming desktop is now launched. Razer also announced Hammerhead True Wireless Pro earbud. Phanteks launch new Evolv Shift 2 and Evolv Shift 2 ear cases. Hulu's watch parties are now available to all subscribers. Now that was all for today's techie stuff, and all the sources are linked down in the description, so don't forget to check them out. Now let's talk about some of the stuff I like, starting with Warner Brothers releasing Matrix 4, Dune, and more on HBO Max and in theaters simultaneously. Now some of these movies are very much anticipated, like Matrix 4 and Dune. Some of them are not, but it looks like that December and moving forward 2021 is gonna be a great time for movie buffs. Now, talking about movie buffs, our next news is coming from Universal. A new Van Helsing movie is reportedly in development at Universal. Now, if you don't know about Van Helsing, it is a kind of a monster hunter movie, or Van Helsing is a monster hunter, and in this particular movie, or the movie that it's gonna reboot, which previously was done by Hugh Jackman, I don't know who is gonna be the new cast or what the cast situation is gonna be, but the story was that he was hunting some kind of Dracula, so it's kind of that the Hugh Jackman one isn't that much good, but give it a watch. If you liked it, let me know in the comment section, but I didn't like it that much. But it looks like that Universal is rebooting that movie, or that movie is rebooted by Universal, and because of this reason, a lot of people are speculating that Universal is also rebooting their Dark Universe with it. Now, if you don't know what's the Dark Universe, it is similar like MCU or DC Cinematic Universe. So Universal tried to create a monster universe where they will do a bunch of horror and monster related movies. One of the first one was Tom Cruise Mummy, but it didn't go as they planned. I kind of liked the movie, but then they kind of put that Universal Dark Universe on hold, but I think they are rebooting it again, and I want to see some of the movies, because Universal owns a lot of great IP like The Mummy, and I think Frankenstein. I think Universal also owns Frankenstein. So to be honest, I want to see Universal Dark Universe. And one other thing is that I want to see Tom Cruise in one other Mummy movie. I think that guy has a lot of talent. We all know that Tom Cruise is a really talented actor, and he can put his flavor onto Mummy movies if the script was written properly, and if the production house give Tom Cruise a little bit more creative freedom, then he can put his input into the movies. To be honest, I want to see another Mummy movie with Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise style movie with jam-pack action and stunt. I want to see that kind of a Mummy movie with mystery, action, and all these things. So hope for the best that they do Tom Cruise Mummy movie again. Now let's talk about the last bit of our news for today, and that is Game of Thrones spin-off House of Dragons to begin filming soon. Now we don't know when is the soon is, but It's gonna be pretty soon. And if you are a fan of Game of Thrones, then I'm sure you are excited for this spin-off. But to be honest, I like Game of Thrones, but I haven't finished it. And most of the people told me that just don't bother finishing it. The finale is not worth the whole series. And I'm like, what? Like, okay, the finale was bad, but that doesn't mean all the other seasons are bad, because I watched 2 seasons and I really liked it. It's up on my alley. I like those kind of movies, those mythical or fantasy driven movies. And to be honest, my favorite movie franchise is Harry Potter. So most of you guys can guess what my movie taste is like. It's good, okay? Nobody comment anything bad about my movie taste, because Harry Potter is my favorite movie franchise, but it doesn't mean that I haven't watched good movies with great character development and story. I watched, like, here's the thing, I watched Citizen Kane probably 3 or 4 times. Okay, so most of you even heard about Citizen Kane. Okay, so just don't comment that I don't know what my movie taste, or my movie taste is bad. Just don't do that. And talking about not doing, you don't have to watch this video anymore. Well, that segue isn't that good, honestly. But yeah, this video is ending, so I told you you don't have to watch this video anymore, because this video is ending. Yes, this video is ending. So if you liked it, hit the like button. If you don't, leave it a dislike. Like, if you want to, you can, but it kind of hurts when people dislike. So do your thing, but think about it twice. And if you want to watch more videos from us, check out this video right here. And if you want to subscribe, well, go ahead and do it by here. There's Akash, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.